I never wanted to be anyone's damn favorite. I just wanted to be respected. Come in, do my job, get my paycheck, and leave with my head up. That's it. I started working at Drayton & Fields when I was 26. Small firm, mid-sized clients, big ambitions. They called themselves a modern consulting company, but it was still a bunch of white guys in overpriced suits making way too many decisions behind closed doors. I wasn't there long before people started noticing me. Not in a cute way, more like, oh, she actually knows what the hell she's doing. I was efficient. I handled messy clients, fixed broken accounts, hit numbers that my own manager couldn't hit without help. So yeah, people noticed. And one of those people was Mason Rudd. Mason was the VP of strategy. That smug, preppy kind of guy who talked like everything he said was a favor. He wore loafers with no socks, always smelled like $90 cologne, and somehow managed to interrupt people even when he was just listening. Married. 2 kids. Big name in the company. A real piece of work. At first, he was all business. Gave me extra projects. Called me into meetings I wasn't usually invited to. Told me I was sharp and level-headed in rooms full of idiots. I'll admit, I felt seen. Like someone finally clocked that I wasn't just another warm body answering emails. But then it started shifting. I remember the first time it got weird. We were at this off-site thing in Nashville. 3-day leadership conference. Happy hours, networking, the usual ass-kissing. I was nursing a whiskey at the hotel bar, tired as hell, and Mason slid into the seat next to me like we were old drinking buddies. You're not like the rest of them, he said, real casual, looking at me over the rim of his glass. I said, yeah, I noticed. He smiled, and leaned in a little. You ever think about where you want to go here? I shrugged. VP. Eventually. Maybe director. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. You could move fast, he said. If you play things right. If you've listened to my story this far, do me a quick favor. Please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And just like that, I felt the temperature change. Not the room. Him. That shift in tone, the suggestion baked into the sentence. I laughed it off. Told myself I was overthinking it. Told myself he didn't mean anything by it. Stupid. Back at the office, things got more pointed. He'd stop by my desk for no reason. Invite me to meetings I didn't need to be in. Start sending me late-night emails. You still up? Let's talk tomorrow, but only if you're nice to me. Dumb shit like that. I started deleting them. Started keeping a folder just in case. I'd reply with one-word answers, pretend I didn't see the subtext. But I did. I saw all of it. Then came the conversation that changed everything. It was a Thursday. We were the last 2 in the office, everyone else already gone. I was wrapping up a client audit, headphones in, typing fast, trying to get home at a decent hour. He knocked on my desk, not tapped. Knocked, like it was a door. I pulled my earbuds out. What's up? He looked around, like he was about to share state secrets, then said, I have a proposition. Okay, I said, side-eyeing my laptop. I've been thinking about the director position opening up next quarter, he said. I want to recommend you for it. I waited. But, he went on, I'd need to know you're committed. Loyal. Willing to go the extra mile. My stomach sank. I looked him dead in the eye and said, what does that mean? He smiled. Like it was funny. Let's just say, spend the weekend with me. Make sure we're aligned. And I'll make sure the board sees your name first. I didn't say anything. I didn't yell or slap him or throw my drink in his face like some movie moment. I just sat there, watching him. I'm giving you a real shot here, he added. Most people don't get this kind of offer. I said, you done? He looked surprised. Excuse me. I said, are you done? He raised his hands like I was being dramatic. Hey, it's just between us. No pressure. Think about it. I didn't have to think about shit. But I did need a plan. I went home that night and didn't say a word to anyone. No music, no TV, no texting friends about what just happened. I sat on the floor in my kitchen, back against the fridge, and stared at nothing. I wasn't shocked. That's the part that pissed me off the most. I wasn't shocked because deep down, I already knew. Guys like Mason don't just exist. They thrive, in places like Drayton & Fields, where the men are gods and women are scenery. It was never about whether it would happen. It was just a matter of when, and to who. This time, it was me. I could have said yes. Let's be fucking real for a second. I could have packed a weekend bag, shaved my pussy, put on some cheap lace lingerie, and played the obedient little whore he wanted. I could have faked the moans, let him finish on my stomach or wherever the fuck he liked, smiled through it all, and come back Monday with a new title, my own office, and a shiny little company card with my name in bold. The promotion wasn't a bluff. He wasn't joking. He wanted to buy my silence and my body in one sick little deal, and he knew damn well he could, because that shit's worked for him before. But I'm not that fucking girl. I don't trade my dignity for office perks. I don't let men use me like a fucking door prize just to get ahead. I worked my ass off for every number I hit, every contract I landed, every late night I spent fixing other people's bullshit. And I sure as hell wasn't gonna let some greasy-ass VP with a cheating streak try to turn me into his personal fuck toy. So I opened the folder. Yeah, the one I'd been building. Every weird email. Every out-of-line message. Every late night you up, and sleazy comment I got in meetings. Screenshots, forwarded threads, date stamps, the whole thing. I even had the text he sent last month. If you ever want to skip the line to the top, I've got the key. Smug bastard thought he was clever. And now I had the final piece, his voice. What Mason didn't know was I had voice memos running on my phone during that entire conversation. Just one tap and everything he said. Spend the weekend with me. Make sure we're aligned. I'll recommend you for the promotion. All of it was saved. Now I had receipts. Real ones. I didn't go to HR the next day. Nah, HR is where these complaints go to fucking die. You tell HR, and they investigate until everything is buried and you're the one with the target on your back. I wasn't interested in quietly being pushed out. I wanted a crowd. So I waited. The company had a quarterly board meeting coming up in 2 weeks. All the big names. Full attendance. Including Mason. And since I was one of the staff leads who'd contributed to the recent client acquisition project, I was on the docket to present results. Perfect. For 2 weeks, I smiled in his face. Said good morning, Mason. Like nothing ever happened. I accepted extra tasks. Answered emails. Played the game. I didn't show an ounce of anger, not because I forgave him, but because I wanted him comfortable. He needed to believe I was still thinking about it. I even got another message from him the Friday before the meeting. Just one line. Still considering the offer? I'll bring wine. I didn't reply. The night before the board meeting, I barely slept. Not because I was nervous about exposing him. I was just wired. I had this heat under my skin, like I was finally going to set something on fire that deserved to burn. I got to the office early. Printed everything. Emailed copies of the audio file to a cloud account. Made backups. Sent one to my personal lawyer, just in case. I wasn't walking into that room unarmed. When the meeting started, Mason looked smug as ever, hair slicked back, cufflinks shining, expensive watch flashing every time he adjusted his notes. I let him talk. Let him present his bullshit strategy update. Let him speak like he hadn't tried to fuck his way into controlling me. Then it was my turn. I stood at the head of the long glass table. Calm. Steady. Just me and a USB stick in my hand. I was asked to provide an overview of client retention and growth over the last quarter, I said. But before I do that, I want to play a short clip. It's relevant to company culture. Mason's face twitched. Just slightly. But I saw it. I plugged it in. Hit play. The room went quiet. And then they heard it. His voice. Spend the weekend with me. Fuck me, basically. You do that, and I'll make sure your name's at the top when the board picks the next director. You could hear a fucking pin drop. Mason looked like someone just unplugged his spine. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I wish I could describe the look on Mason's face when that recording started playing, but the truth is, I didn't even look at him. I watched the board instead. There were 10 people in the room. All of them powerful, all of them old, mostly men, except for 2 women who'd been in the game long enough to not flinch when bullshit came flying. When his voice echoed off those glass walls, there was a beat of silence where no one even blinked. Then came the shift. It wasn't dramatic. No gasps. No one flipped the table. But there was this collective inhale, like they all realized, at the exact same time, that they were listening to something that could fuck the whole company if it ever leaked outside. And it wasn't a maybe. It wasn't vague. It wasn't flirty or playful or twisted into misinterpreted territory. It was crystal clear. Spend the weekend with me. Fuck me, basically. You do that, and I'll make sure your name's at the top when the board picks the next director. Word for word. His voice. His tone. His fucking arrogance, sealed forever in 21 seconds of audio. Mason reached for his laptop like he was gonna do something about it. What, exactly? Slam the table. Shove the USB out of the port. Cry. I don't know. But I held up my hand without even looking at him and said, loud enough for everyone to hear. There are 5 backup copies and a time-stamped email trail. If anyone in this room deletes a damn thing, I'll forward it all to every major outlet that covers corporate misconduct. Try me. He froze. No one came to his defense. Not even Charles, our CTO, who usually rode Mason's dick like it came with benefits. He sat stiff in his chair, jaw tight, eyes forward. That's when Catherine, one of the board members and the only person in that room I halfway respected, cleared her throat. Would you mind stepping out for a moment while we speak privately? Gladly, I said. I grabbed my folder, my USB, my phone, and walked out. I didn't wait by the door like some nervous little intern. I went to the break room, poured myself the worst cup of corporate coffee known to man. Took my time stirring in that powdered creamer like it was a damn spa day. I stayed in there for almost 40 minutes. When I came back, the meeting was over. People were walking out, faces tight, no small talk. Mason didn't look at me when he passed. Good. I didn't look at him either. That night, I got an email from Catherine. Subject line, tomorrow. Please be in the office by 9 a.m. There will be a short meeting with executive leadership. Thank you. No bullshit. No great job today. Just instructions. Fine by me. The next morning, I wore black. Not because it was some dramatic move, just because I like black. It makes me feel like I'm holding the knife in the room, even if nobody else knows it yet. I walked in, clocked the room, Catherine. Charles. Ava from legal. No Mason. I sat down. Crossed my legs. Waited. Catherine looked at me like she was studying something sharp. We've accepted Mason's resignation effective immediately. There will be no press release. We'll handle the transition internally. I nodded. Fine. We'd like to offer you the director position. Effective next quarter. And a retention bonus. I smiled. Also fine. Ava spoke next. There's a settlement agreement we'd like you to review. Standard NDA, compensation, commitment not to disclose specifics of the incident. I held up a hand. Let me stop you right there. She blinked. Excuse me. I'm not signing shit, I said. I'm not suing either. Not unless someone pisses me off. But I'm not going to pretend this didn't happen. If I ever get asked, off the record, in an interview, on a fucking podcast, I'm going to say what happened. A man in power tried to trade sex for a promotion. I said no. And I stayed. Ava shifted uncomfortably. Catherine didn't say a word. Just nodded. Charles cleared his throat. Are we good, then? I leaned back in my chair. I'm good. Y'all should check your senior staff, though. Because I guarantee Mason wasn't the only one. And that was that. No hugs. No applause. No parade for being the woman who didn't bend. I walked out of that room like I walked into it. Quiet, focused, and done playing dumb. But something did change after that. People avoided me for a while. Some of them probably thought I slept with him and then changed my story. Others just didn't want to get involved. Fine. I don't need fake friends in the office kitchen. What mattered was this. I stayed. And I didn't let my body be a toy to him. Mason was gone, but his stink still lingered. The day after his so-called resignation, people treated me like I was radioactive. Not everyone. Some folks avoided eye contact out of guilt or awkwardness, and I could live with that. But a few of them, the ones who used to high-five him in the hallway and follow him around like baby ducks, suddenly had a lot to say. Just never to my face. I started hearing things. First it was small. Someone from compliance asked if I was adjusting okay to the director role. She smiled too hard when she said it, like she knew something I didn't. Then one of the interns told me they overheard a manager from sales say I fucked my way into that office. I wanted to laugh. If I'd actually slept with Mason, I'd probably still be buried under him, getting promoted with his dick in my mouth. But I didn't. And yet, somehow, the fact that I didn't fuck him, and exposed him instead, made me dangerous. Not brave. Not honest. Threatening. By the end of the week, my inbox was a landmine. Shady questions. Passive-aggressive follow-ups. Random-ass reassignments I didn't approve. That's when I figured it out. Someone was fucking with me. Emails that never made it to my calendar. Numbers mysteriously off in reports I never even touched. People forwarding me threads like, just following up per your request, when I never asked for shit. It was intentional. Calculated. and clumsy enough to piss me off. And then I saw his name, Tyler Monroe. Junior VP. Mason's golden boy. 35, white, smug, wore designer shoes he couldn't afford, and had that stupid rich kid beard that looked like it was glued on during frat week. He was Mason's mouthpiece in meetings, always the first to laugh at his shitty jokes, always the one taking notes like they were gospel. Now he was in my email threads. Ceasing legal. Forwarding private feedback to whole-ass teams. Playing the good soldier while planting landmines under my desk. And the wildest part. He wasn't even subtle. He started showing up to meetings I didn't invite him to. Asked loud questions. Challenged me on minor things in front of other directors. Nothing worth a full fight, just enough to make me look shaky. He kept it just below insubordination, but just above disrespect. That greasy middle lane where guys like him thrive. I kept a straight face. Smiled when needed. Nodded when necessary. But inside, I was loading the fucking chamber. I started documenting. Again. I even asked IT to send me a usage log for Tyler's recent email activity. Told them I was auditing process overlap for efficiency. They bought it. Idiots. Turns out, this little rat had forwarded 3 internal memos I wrote, ones with performance data and client status updates, to people outside my department. And one of them contained sensitive financial forecasts that only execs were supposed to see. So now I had that. But I wasn't done. I waited for the next board meeting. Yeah, again. I didn't want to just tell on him, I wanted a show. I wanted them to see that Mason's mess didn't leave with him. That the problem wasn't just one man. It was a whole system of little weasels who thought they were untouchable because their bosses were predators. And when the day came, I was ready. Halfway through my department update, I paused and pulled up a slide that wasn't in the shared deck. Before I wrap, I said, clicking to the next screen, I want to bring attention to an ongoing issue of data breaches and internal sabotage. That word, sabotage, hit like a slap. The room tensed. I zoomed in on the logs. Highlighted Tyler's name. Showed the timestamps. The email forwards. The unauthorized sharing. I had every fucking breadcrumb, neatly laid out. And then I dropped the cherry. I've attached a formal request for disciplinary action, I said, staring right at Charles, who had vouched for Tyler just 2 weeks ago. And if nothing happens, I'm prepared to take this to compliance and our clients. Especially the ones whose data was shared without consent. Tyler looked like he was going to throw up in his chair. Catherine gave a tight nod. We'll review this immediately. That's boardroom talk 4, he's fucked. And he was. 3 days later, I got a call from Ava in legal. Tyler had been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. He wouldn't be returning. There'd be no formal comment. No big announcement. Just like Mason. Another snake, cut at the head. And me. Still standing. But I wasn't smiling. Because now I knew, this wasn't over. There were more of them. Hiding in offices, tucked behind Slack messages, floating through departments with titles they didn't deserve. They'd call me bitter. Or a bitch. Or a problem. Fine. Let them. Just don't forget, they tried to play smart, but I was smarter. A phone call from a blocked number that turned out to be Cassie from legal. She used to work under Mason too. I've been watching how you handled everything, she said, her voice low, like she thought someone might be listening. And I just want to say, thank you. I didn't think anyone would ever take one of them down. I leaned back in my chair. One of them. She paused for a second, then exhaled. There's more. You know that, right? Yeah, I knew. Turns out, Mason wasn't the only exec who treated his position like a fucking dating app. He was just the one dumb enough to say it out loud. Cassie told me that a couple years back, Paul Atkinson, the head of accounts, was known for giving female interns extended mentorship. One girl quit mid-internship and left crying. No one followed up. No one cared. And Mason, that wasn't even the first time someone tried to file a complaint. One woman, Adriana, had gone to HR over a pattern of sexualized behavior from him during a business trip. It vanished. No case opened. No follow-up. The only thing that happened was she got transferred to a different department, and Mason got a bonus that quarter. That's when I really started to feel it in my bones. This shit wasn't about me. I just happened to be the one who didn't back down. They'd been doing this forever, and people had been quietly surviving it, brushing it off, quitting, or eating the humiliation just to keep their jobs. I wasn't okay with that. So I made a list. Not just of names, but patterns. Who got promoted under who? Who mysteriously disappeared? who always stayed after hours. I started digging, not recklessly, but carefully, like I was brushing dirt off bones. And the more I uncovered, the clearer it got. This place was rotting from the inside out. I didn't trust HR, so I went outside. Hired a private firm that specializes in internal misconduct audits. Not some big flashy agency. A boutique one. Ex-investigators and lawyers who knew how to move quiet. I told them I wanted dirt. Not gossip, proof. Meanwhile, inside the office, people had started calling me the guillotine. Some said it with a smirk. Others with fear. I didn't care. I wasn't there to be liked. I was there to make sure no other woman got propositioned in a fucking conference room and told to play nice. One Thursday, I caught Lauren, a junior analyst, in the bathroom wiping her face. Eyes red. Hands shaking. I waited until the others left, then asked, "Who was it?" She didn't even ask what I meant. She just whispered, "Tom. From marketing. Tom fucking Ritter. Mid-40s. Married. Kids. Always made comments like you're too pretty to be doing spreadsheets. Had a calendar full of coffee chats with women he barely supervised. I always knew he was slime. Now I had a name to attach to it. Lauren begged me not to tell anyone. I promised I wouldn't. But I asked her one thing. If you had the chance to make it stop for good, would you take it? She didn't answer. But she didn't say no. The next day, I added Tom to the list. The audit team started turning up real shit. Email patterns. Security footage inconsistencies. One exec, Mark Lyles, had been meeting women from a freelance vendor team at hotels during networking retreats. Not illegal, but definitely against policy, and shady as hell. It was all connected. Not a boys' club. A fucking predator ring with suits and LinkedIn profiles. So I built a dossier. Over 60 pages. Titled it, Unpaid Fucking Labor, The Cost of Being a Woman at Drayton and Fields. I added timestamps. Screenshots. Policy breakdowns. Anonymous testimonials. HR cover-up receipts. It was clean, brutal, and airtight. Then I sent it to every board member from a burner email account. That same night, Catherine called me directly. First time she ever sounded anything close to nervous. "We need to talk," she said. "I bet you do." She tried to soften it. "You should have brought this to us directly." "I did. When I played you Mason's audio. When I showed you Tyler's sabotage. You all thought it was over. You wanted it quiet. It's not quiet anymore." Silence on the other end. "We'll need time to review." "No," I said. "You don't get time. Either you fix this from the inside, or I leak it. Every page. To the media. To our clients. To the women you failed. Hell, I'll read the whole thing on a podcast and name names." More silence. "I'm giving you 3 days," I said. "Then I go wide." 3 days. That's what I gave them. 7 to 2 hours to clean house or get dragged. I didn't send reminders. I didn't follow up. I sat back and watched the building shake from the inside. And oh, it shook. By noon the next day, I knew someone had opened the dossier. My burner email pinged. Not a reply, just a forward to 5 other addresses. Then I saw Catherine's assistant booking emergency boardroom time on the company calendar, flagged internal crisis review. Warm coffee and corporate panic. That's my shit. People were rattled. You could feel it in the way the elevators got quiet. How nobody made eye contact in the kitchen. Folks who'd never spoken to me before suddenly wanted to ask about my weekend plans like we were buddies. One dude from IT offered me a donut like it was a peace treaty. "Bitch, please." And then came the best part. I didn't have to do a single thing. I just walked into meetings, gave my updates, and let the panic stew around me. Because now, I was the fire. By Friday, 3 execs had stepped down. Their company bias vanished. Emails bounced. Offices cleared. No goodbye lunches. No farewell balloons. Just ghosts. Tom Ritter. Gone. Mark Lyles. Gone. One HR manager who buried past complaints. Transferred. Probably to hell. I walked past an empty desk and almost felt something like joy. Not the glittery, girl boss kind. Not revenge porn. Just this clean, clear satisfaction. Like I had finally shut the fucking door on something disgusting. But of course, it wasn't all claps and cheers. Someone still tried to push back. Her name was Mallory Benson, the kind of woman who acts like she hates office politics but secretly lives for it. Director of Communications. Blonde, cold, always wearing some oversized blazer like she was doing press for an apology tour. She'd been Mason's mouthpiece for years, spinning all his little PR problems into fluffy memos. Now she wanted to sit down for coffee. I just think we need to talk, she said, teeth tight behind that lipstick smile. Clear the air. I said, I think the air's plenty clear. It just stinks now. She laughed like I was joking. I wasn't. We sat across from each other at the cafe downstairs. She ordered oat milk. Of course she did. I just want to understand what you're hoping to achieve here, she said, leaning in like she was doing me a favor. Because you've made your point. Loudly. I sipped my coffee. My point is women shouldn't have to suck dick to get promoted. Is that loud enough for you? She blinked. 1, 2. Like she couldn't believe I said it out loud. I'm not trying to silence anyone, she lied, and God bless her for trying. But we do need to be mindful of reputational risk. You're a leader now. People look to you. I leaned forward, elbows on the table. Then they better look close. Because I'm not going to smile while another young woman gets backed into a corner by some old creep in a Patagonia vest. Mallory's mouth tightened. I saw it then, fear. Not because I was yelling. I wasn't. I hadn't raised my voice once. She was scared because none of this was going back in the box. And I think that's when she realized I wasn't bluffing. I didn't want hush money. I didn't want a press tour. I didn't want to play nice in newsletters or host some performative women in leadership lunch where everyone claps for nothing. I wanted them uncomfortable. Watching their backs. Cleaning up the shit they pretended wasn't there. I wanted this place to hurt enough to change. When I left the cafe, I didn't look back. Didn't wait for a thank you or a follow-up. I had better things to do. That night, I emailed the audit team a thank you note with a bonus. Those women worked like assassins, clean, precise, and silent. I also reached out to Cassie and Lauren to let them know quietly, we're not done. I've got space if you want in. Both replied the same way. Say the word. We weren't building a support group. We were building a team. And it was working. Over the next week, I started getting calls from women at other firms. I heard what you did. Do you have any resources? Can I send you something off the record? Apparently word travels fast when you make a man shit his pants in front of a boardroom. And that's when it clicked. This was bigger than Drayton and Fields. This was a system. And I had just figured out how to crack it open. From the inside. The day I quit, the sky was gray, just the kind of overcast that feels like the world's holding its breath. I didn't send out a goodbye email. No, it's been a pleasure working with you all. No fake warmth. I packed my shit into a single box. Just my mug, some charges, a photo I actually liked of me and my sister from college, and the folder. Yeah, the folder. The one that started it all. Mason's audio. Tyler's sabotage. The list of names. The receipts. I kept one printed copy, even though I'd already backed it all up. Some people keep trophies. I keep paper trails. When I turned in my badge, Ava from legal walked me out. She didn't say much. I think she respected me, maybe feared me a little. Probably both. At the elevator, she said, you could have stayed. You had power here now. I smiled, just barely. I don't want to spend the next 10 years cleaning up after men who never deserved their titles in the first place. She nodded. Fair. That was it. No applause. No slow clap. Just the quiet hiss of elevator doors closing behind me. A month later, I was running my own thing. No office. No investors. Just me, a cheap desk lamp, and a waiting list of women who'd heard what I did and said, I need that. I started a consulting firm, not some glossy, corporate-groomed HR agency. No, I built something sharper. More useful. We specialized in internal audits, survivor support, and private strategic takedowns. For women who wanted to stay, rise, or walk away clean. We weren't therapists. We were fixers. And business was good. Clients came in through encrypted portals. I hired my audit crew full-time. I pulled Cassie from legal. I gave Lauren her first taste of real leadership. And every time a woman came to us with a file, a recording, or just a gut feeling, we believed her first. And we acted fast. You don't realize how many companies are held together by fear and silence until you start ripping back the curtain. It wasn't just Drayton and Fields. It was everywhere. Creative agencies. Tech startups. Non-profits. Places that swore up and down they were progressive, until someone pulled the wrong thread and the whole damn sweater unraveled. I didn't name names publicly. I didn't need to. But I had a reputation now. They started calling me the one-woman HR apocalypse. And I fucking loved it. Sometimes, late at night, I'd still get emails from former coworkers. A few of them were bitter. You ruined Mason's career. You made it harder for the rest of us. Why couldn't you just let it go? Let it go. Letting it go is how we got here. Letting it go is why a man could corner me in a conference room and ask me to fuck him for a promotion like it was a handshake. Letting it go is why women cry in bathrooms and send anonymous complaints that never get answered. No, I didn't let it go. I held it by the neck until it coughed up everything. And if that ruined anyone's career, good. Maybe next time they'll keep their pants zipped and their hands to themselves. I never talked to Mason again. Never needed to. Last I heard, he was trying to do consulting out in Florida. His LinkedIn said something stupid like strategic advisor in business ethics. Cute. Tyler's LinkedIn disappeared entirely. Probably rebranded himself somewhere in sales. Or maybe selling life insurance to old women in retirement homes. Either way, fuck him. Drayton and Fields issued a quiet diversity pledge 3 months after I left. New policies. New task forces. All fake. But hey, sometimes fear works better than ethics. I don't miss it. I don't miss the fake smiles or the beige cubicles or the office birthday cupcakes nobody wanted. I don't miss the performance reviews or the way men said you're intimidating when I didn't laugh at their jokes. I miss nothing. Because this, what I have now, is mine. And every woman I help tear down another predator, every file we build, every late-night phone call where someone finally says, I'm not crazy, right? This is the work. It's dirty. It's thankless. And it's necessary. So, if you ever find yourself in a room with a man who thinks power gives him permission, and you wonder if you should speak up, do it. Don't think twice. Expose that motherfucker. Get your proof. Build your case. Burn the fucking ladder and build your own door. And if you need backup, I'm not hard to find. Thanks for listening. Please go ahead and like, comment, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've got a story of your own, don't stay quiet. Please, speak up. I'll see you in the next one.